Have you ever felt more tired and unsettled after visiting someone than you did before you left? At this stage in life, the simple act of going for a visit might not be as harmless as it once seemed. In fact, it could be quietly wearing you down in ways you don't see, at least not right away. This video is for people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who have been told they need to get out more, or feel obligated to keep visiting friends and family, even when they don't really want to. If you've ever felt guilty for not visiting someone, it could be your body and mind telling you the truth. You've lived long enough to know that not every invitation is a gift, and not every outing is good for you. In fact, as we get older, one of the hardest lessons to learn is that our energy, time, and presence aren't unlimited anymore. They must be guarded, preserved, and given with care. So today, we're going to talk about something many seniors feel quietly but rarely say out loud. Visiting others too often or too freely might be doing more harm than good. And more importantly, recognizing this can actually bring you more peace, better health, and deeper self-respect. Let's go over 5 reasons why seniors, like you, must be more cautious about visiting others, and why staying home more often than not might be the kindest thing you can do for yourself and for them. The first reason, energy drain. As we age, energy stops being something we can rely on. It becomes something we must conserve, like water in a desert. But visiting people, even people we love, often demands more energy than we expect. There's the preparation, the travel, the conversation, the effort to be cheerful or presentable, and then the long ride home or the quiet letdown afterward. It's rarely just a simple drop-in anymore. Most seniors don't talk about how drained they feel after social visits. Some even feel embarrassed by it, as if they're being antisocial or weak. But the truth is, our nervous system simply doesn't recover as quickly as it once did. What used to be a fun afternoon now might take an entire day or more to bounce back from. And during that time, our immune system is taxed, our sleep is disrupted, and our mood dips without warning. There's also an invisible pressure in these visits to perform. Even when the people we visit don't ask much of us, we still try to be on. We smile more than we feel like smiling. We hold back the aches and worries we wish we could share. And we listen more than we speak, especially if the people we're visiting are younger. That quiet strain builds up over time, leaving us more depleted than we realize. Take Margaret, 72. She used to visit her daughter and grandkids twice a week. But after every visit, she noticed her knees ached more. She slept poorly. Her digestion got off. And she couldn't figure out why, until her doctor told her it wasn't just physical stress, it was emotional overexertion too. That's when she cut back to once every 2 weeks, and her energy returned. Her family noticed the difference too. She was more present, more patient, more herself. As we get older, we have to view energy like currency. You don't spend all your money on one lunch. You budget it wisely, and sometimes the best investment is staying home, letting your body rest, and only going where your spirit truly feels safe. Now, let's talk about the second reason, emotional expectations. For many older adults, visiting others isn't just a physical task. It becomes an emotional test. Expectations come layered in every smile, every comment, every unspoken glance. When you step into someone else's space, especially family, you're not just a guest. You're often seen as someone who should be this way or that. You should be cheerful. You should stay longer. You shouldn't talk about health. Or you should. It doesn't take long before these visits stop feeling warm and start feeling like an audition. That emotional toll is harder to measure than fatigue, but it cuts deeper. You begin to second-guess your words, wonder if you said too much, notice the silence after your stories, or worse, the way someone quickly changes the topic. And then you start wondering whether they really wanted you there in the first place. That wondering can linger for days, especially when your life has slowed down, and theirs hasn't. Older people often go visiting out of habit or guilt, because that's what they used to do. But in doing so, they forget that emotional environments have changed. Younger people might not understand how fragile peace becomes in older age. They might make light jokes that sting, talk about things we can't relate to anymore, or simply stay on their phones the whole time, while you sit there wondering why you came. Walter, 78, visited his nephew's home every Sunday for months. One day during dinner, the nephew's wife turned to him and said, "You know, you don't have to come every week." She meant it kindly, but it broke something in Walter. He stopped visiting altogether, not out of anger, but because he realized he was showing up more for them than they were for him, and he didn't need to do that anymore. When we visit out of duty rather than joy, resentment quietly follows. In old age, the last thing we need is another source of silent heartache. Protecting our emotional space doesn't make us selfish. It makes us wise. If being around someone starts making you feel less like yourself, it's not your job to fix that dynamic. It's your job to stop stepping into it. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward with the third reason, the health risk factor. As we age, even something as simple as a short visit can carry hidden dangers for our health. Our immune systems naturally weaken in crowded homes, especially those with children or people going in and out all day. These become silent battlegrounds of germs, viruses, and seasonal bugs. What's a mild cough to a grandchild can turn into a week-long struggle for a 75-year-old, and many seniors don't bounce back as easily as they used to. What makes it worse is that older adults often downplay how they feel until it's too late. Visits might look harmless, but think about the exposure. Shared food, hugs, doorknobs, even shared restrooms. In a single hour, you've touched dozens of surfaces. And if you're staying long, fatigue kicks in, and your body works harder just to stay alert and polite. Add in the pressure to eat what's served, stay up later than usual, or sit through noisy conversations, and it becomes more than just a friendly drop-in. It becomes physical strain. Edith, 84, loved seeing her daughter's family, but after each visit, she'd feel drained for days. One weekend she caught a stomach virus that the toddler had brought home from preschool. Edith ended up in the ER for dehydration. That's when she and her daughter agreed. No more visits when anyone's even slightly unwell. It was a hard boundary, but a wise one. Older bodies need stable routines and predictable environments to stay strong. Unexpected visits often mean skipped medications, irregular meals, disrupted sleep, and that's before you count in the stress. One poor night's rest after a visit can raise blood pressure, spike blood sugar, and stir up old aches. It's not the visit itself. It's everything the visit stirs up. So when you think about visiting others in old age, ask yourself, will this bring me health, or will it chip away at the strength I've worked so hard to keep? Part 3. Final points and conclusion. Now that we've covered the first 3 reasons why it's important to be cautious about visiting others, let's move on to the last 2. These are just as critical, and they focus on the emotional and financial toll that constant visiting can take on you, especially in your later years. Let's dive into the 4th and 5th reasons. 4. The unspoken financial pressure. As we age, we often feel a sense of responsibility to help others, especially family members. However, this feeling of obligation can lead to a subtle, yet significant financial strain. Some people in our lives may not explicitly ask for help, but they might expect us to pitch in when it comes to paying for meals, gifts, or other expenses. The pressure to contribute financially, even when you may not be able to afford it, can add unnecessary stress to your life. These financial pressures often come in small doses. You buy snacks for the grandchildren, cover a meal when you go out, or perhaps help with a bill when someone is struggling. At first, it doesn't feel like much, but over time, these little expenses add up. For someone living on a fixed income or relying on retirement savings, this constant outflow of money can have a real impact. Example: Paul, 78, regularly visited his niece's family every other weekend. He would always bring pastries for the kids, sometimes help pay for dinners, or chip in on gas money when they went out. Over time, he noticed that his savings were depleting much faster than he had anticipated. When he spoke with his financial planner, he learned that, over the past 2 years, his small contributions had added up to over $3,000. Paul never intended to buy love, but the financial strain began to weigh heavily on him. Many older adults tie their sense of self-worth to how useful they can be to others. This desire to help can sometimes lead to overextending financially, even when it's not sustainable. The trick here is to recognize when you're giving more than you can afford, both emotionally and financially, and to set healthy boundaries. Saying no to financial requests doesn't make you selfish. It makes you responsible for your own well-being. Why you should avoid it? If you constantly find yourself financially stretched in an attempt to help others, it can lead to stress, worry, and even resentment. It's important to protect your financial security, especially as you get older. You've worked hard for your savings and deserve to enjoy your retirement without constantly feeling the pressure to provide for others. 5. The risk of losing your own rhythm. As we get older, we develop a rhythm to our lives. Whether it's enjoying quiet mornings, eating meals at set times, or taking afternoon naps, these small routines give us a sense of control and peace. However, when we spend too much time visiting others, especially those who live by a different schedule, we risk losing touch with our own rhythm. Constantly adapting to other people's schedules can lead to a sense of disorientation and stress, even if it seems like a small adjustment. When we're younger, we may not mind altering our routines for the sake of others, but as we age, maintaining a steady rhythm becomes crucial for our health and happiness. Changing your routine too frequently, even for well-meaning social visits, can throw off your body's internal clock, leading to disrupted sleep, missed meals, and even digestive issues. It might sound trivial at first, but over time, this loss of personal rhythm can have a significant impact on your well-being. Example: Eugene, 76, had a routine every Sunday afternoon where he would read the newspaper, take a short walk, and enjoy a quiet cup of coffee on his porch. However, over the years, he started visiting his friend every Sunday afternoon. They would watch football, chat, and eat together, but soon Eugene realized that he was missing out on his own rituals. He stopped reading his paper, skipped his walks, and even missed his coffee break. His mind began to feel scattered, and he no longer felt like Sunday was his day to unwind. It wasn't the visit that was the problem. It was the loss of his personal rhythm. Maintaining your own rhythm is essential for preserving peace of mind. If you give up your personal rituals too easily, you may start to feel unsettled without realizing why. These small routines, like having a quiet morning or taking a stroll in the park, are not just habits. They're vital for maintaining mental clarity, emotional stability, and overall health. Why you should avoid it? Your routine helps you feel grounded and in control. If you're constantly adjusting your schedule to accommodate others, you risk losing the sense of peace and stability that comes from having control over your own time. Saying no to visits that disrupt your rhythm doesn't mean you're being selfish. It means you're prioritizing your own well-being. Final thoughts and conclusion. Now that we've covered all 5 types of people to avoid for your health and peace, the negative individuals, the energy drainers, the drama creators, the manipulators, and those who cause emotional, financial, and routine disruptions, it's time to reflect on how to implement these lessons into your own life. The most important takeaway here is that your time and energy are precious, especially as you age. You deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift you, not drain you. It's okay to set boundaries and prioritize your own well-being. Saying no to people who negatively impact your life is not only a sign of self-respect, but also a necessary step in protecting your mental and physical health. The more you learn to protect your peace, the more you'll find yourself enjoying life to the fullest. Remember, life in your 60s, 70s, and beyond should be a time for you to enjoy, rest, and embrace the things that bring you joy. It's not about pleasing everyone or doing everything for others. It's about finding balance, nurturing meaningful relationships, and creating a life that supports your health and happiness. So, take a moment to evaluate your relationships. Are there any people in your life who drain your energy, cause you stress, or create unhealthy patterns? It's never too late to set boundaries and protect your peace. You've earned the right to live life on your own terms, and that includes choosing who you spend your time with. If you found this video helpful, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever had to distance yourself from someone for the sake of your health? How did you handle it? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who might benefit from these insights. Your support helps us continue to create content that inspires and informs. Here's to living your best life at any age. And remember, your health and peace of mind are worth protecting.